We back. We busting off on that 8-track. What up, y'all? Welcome back to the TuVues podcast. We here to give y'all some more great information and talk about a great topic here today. So we glad to be with y'all once again. Season 2, episode 2. So like the what? Episode 27. But we here.
No, this 28.
28? Okay, yeah.
We did
We
26.
we up in our game.
So, your boys
Yep.
in the building. EB, Kev G, you know what it is. Here we go.
The Matrix. All right, man. You have a good day today, man. I'm went by fast. Fast take me.
It was decent, man. It was decent, man. Nothing too special work, man. You know, it is what it is.
Hey, man, you remember growing up, man, we couldn't wait to be adults, man.
Bro,
Take me back.
Bro, to all those people, all those young kids that want to be adults, man, enjoy this, man.
Hey,
enjoy
take
this,
your boy
bro.
back. Take me back.
Take me back to grade school, high school. Blame Sumner, man.
Boy.
I want to go back to those times, man. Our life
Adults
was a
in
little
this.
bit carefree.
Yeah. All right, man. What you got for us today, man?
Man, hey.
You ready for it?
Hey. Y'all know what it is, man.
It's time for Kev G's top 5.
For shizzle. All right, man. Today's top 5, man. We did one real quick, man. We're gonna go top 5 board games of all time. Top 5 board games of all time. I'm gonna have one that's controversial, but I don't care because I still think it's a board game.
Always got something controversial.
Since you started on last time, I can go first. I can go first. All right, man. So my number 5. I ain't gonna have no honorable mention. I'm going straight 5. Back. My number 5, man, is Sorry. Sorry gonna be my 5, man. Anybody don't like Sorry, y'all tripping, man. Red, blue, green, yellow. Pick your pieces, man. Move around that board. What's happening? All right. My number 4 gonna be Trouble. 4 gonna be Trouble. Like popping that thing, man. No, I mean, no Trouble was that game, man. You feel me? My number 3. It's not really a board game. This one controversial too. Not really a board game. But I'm gonna say it anyway. Taboo. Taboo is my game.
I didn't think about Taboo.
I love Taboo. Taboo is that game. This legit card game, board game, however you want to call it, man. My number 2 is 2, right? I'm my number 2, right? My number 2 is Chutes and Ladders. Chutes and Ladders is gonna be my number 2. Everybody loves Chutes and Ladders, man. You think you get into that top, you hit that ladder, you hit that shoot, you go right back down. And if you hit the big slide,
you got
big slide, done data. But yeah, Chutes and Ladders are gonna be my number 2, and my number 1 is gonna be my controversial one. And I guarantee you ain't got this on your list.
Okay.
Battleship.
That's number 1,
Battleship is my number 1. Battleship is number 1. Yes, I don't have Monopoly on here. You're right. Everybody got any complaints about Monopoly? Monopoly is too long. It's too long.
But you can rob the bank if you play with the right rules.
No, take too long. You said rob the bank, it's right rules. They ain't the right rules.
Bro, Battleship is number 1.
Battleship is number 1.
That boy had a tough day at work today.
Bro, it wasn't tough, man, but it was a little. It's a little extra. You know what I mean? But it wasn't terrible. But Battleship's my number 1. What you got, Doc?
So I got a controversial one, but no, this ain't controversial. It just you probably ain't gonna look at it as a board game, but it is technically. So my honorable mention is Connect 4.
That's not a board game.
Yes, it is. Yes, technically it is. Technically it is. That's a board game. Okay. All right. So my number 5 is the one you left off the list. But I think we got all of the same. I think I got one that you don't got. And when I said you're gonna remember it. All right. So my number 5 is the one you didn't have on yours. That's Monopoly, man. Come on, man. Even though it took forever, man, Monopoly was that game that you sit around as a family. You can argue, fight, and just have fun playing, trying to get all the houses and hotels, man. So Monopoly, my number 5. My number 4 is the one when I say it, you're gonna be like, oh man, I forgot about that one. Cranium.
I didn't forget about it.
Cranium
was a solid board game.
Cranium is a game, bro.
I might go buy Cranium. I might go buy Cranium.
I think I got it here somewhere. But yeah, Cranium, that game, you always lose the pencils and the Play-Doh though. So that's my number 4. I go with Cranium. My number 3 is.
Now I think about it, Cranium is probably up there.
Yeah, Cranium's a fun game, man. And you also, when you look at honorable mentions, you can throw apples to apples. I think that was a decent game. The one that you had that I wish I would have thought about was Taboo. Taboo is that game though. Well, I think our
categories.
Huh?
I was gonna put categories. I'm like,
nah, I'm passing that, bro. Nah, I ain't gonna do it. I was gonna put as my honorable mention, Trivial Pursuit. I'm a thinker, man. I like Trivial Pursuit.
That'd have been a good one. That'd solid.
I think our top ones are, other than that, Battleship. I think our 4, my 4, 2 through 4 is like I think my 1 through 3 is like 2 through 4. So my number 3 is Sorry. That was always the game. Trouble is my number 2, and my number 1 is Chutes and Ladders. My favorite board game of all time is Chutes and Ladders.
I thought you was gonna have Monopoly as one.
Nah, I like Monopoly. But that, honestly, if there's something, you put games in front of me and say these are my top 5 board games. But if you put them in front of me right now and say which one you want to play, I'm picking Cranium. Just be honest, I'm picking Cranium.
What about Candyland?
I was never a fan of Candyland. Like Candyland and Life, those were my games. Now Risk, I liked Risk.
No, Risk took too long too.
Yeah, it took long, but I liked Risk. But yeah, Candyland was never one of my games. But Trivial Pursuit, oh yeah, let me get that.
No, that Cranium though. Now I think about Cranium more. That Cranium was that game.
If you don't got Cranium as a board game with your family, check it out.
Cranium was that game. So
because it was a whole bunch of board games all in one.
So could we really include Taboo since that was a card game, right? Because it was a card game.
Yeah, I'm going Uno.
You put a whole bunch So I don't know if I can
really include.
I don't know if I can really include Taboo. If I had to remove Taboo, I'll probably put Cranium in as my 5.
Cranium that game, man. So
solid, man. That's the top 5, man. Board games. What y'all got? We know y'all gonna have Monopoly. Okay, whatever. Nobody want to sit there and play Monopoly all day, man. Unless you have modified rules. You need modified rules for Monopoly, bro. Like ain't no
you don't have to go around gold the first time before you start buying.
You just start buying.
Yeah.
And then you got to have a tax-free turn too. When you go around there got to be a tax-free moment. No, I'm a tax accountant, so it's important to have those tax-free days, bro. And they have to go out there, and then people sitting in jail all day because they don't want to go hit nobody property. They just sit there. I'm gonna wait.
Don't want to run them doubles.
Come on, man. Monopoly too long, man. Then people be stealing property, and then you got one property every other color, and you ain't even got all the property, so you can't put hotels on it. That's too much work, bro. That's too much for me.
But our family rules, man. If you can rob the bank and get away with it, you good.
Bro,
you know the family rule.
I think I cheated every game I played, bro. Boy, especially Uno. Every game, man. Uno in person, I be stacking cards, bro. I like stack like 2 or 3 cards together, and I play them on top.
Bro, well, you need to learn how to cheat in spades, man. Because you don't be helping your boy out at all, man.
See, you act like you a pro, bro.
I'm better. I'm a pro. I'm better than you.
Hey, we trash,
bro. You hold your cards like this.
Hey, but I still play right though.
Hey, we can't shuffle. We can.
Ain't nothing, bro. Hey,
we
be winning though. We be winning though. And then when we beat them fools in Peoria, they be getting mad. Talking about
they get mad.
Back when we got a handshake everything. Because we better than y'all. We are the OMC champions, bro. Yeah. We are the OMC champions.
They don't want to believe it, but it's true.
We really ain't though. All right, man, that's top 5. Hit us up with y'all top 5, man. Let's know what y'all's is, man. Board games. Once again, don't hate that I ain't got Monopoly on my list. I don't. It ain't even my number 6.
I hate it, but okay.
That's all you want, man. All right, man. Y'all favorite segment. Y'all know. You got some, Doc?
Yeah, boy.
Here we go. Dr. Davis's dad jokes family. Dr. Davis's dad jokes.
Hey, I told y'all on our last episode, man, that my kids had for Principals Week gave me some. One of their things is to do dad jokes. They know I like dad jokes. All right, so I'm gonna give y'all three. They funny. You ain't gonna laugh, but I'm laughing already just to hear. All right, so I'm gonna give you three from my Bears. Right, from my Bears. Right. So here go the first one for you, kid. Ready?
Your boy.
Look, man. We just gonna go to the circus, man. We gonna do circus.
This already sounds stupid.
We go to the circus, though, right? But it was a fire at the circus, man. It was a fire at the circus, bro. It was intense.
Bro.
It was intense, bro. Okay. I ain't gonna
Hold on. Pause. Can you say some dumb dad jokes before? You said some dumb before. That one gonna take the cake, bro.
I don't care what you did. Hey. Here you go, man. Look, man. I had this dude, man, a friend, man, he got evaporated. He got evaporated, kid. He will be missed. All right. Hey, all right, and I'm gonna end with this one, man.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm in with this one. Ready? Yesterday at 8:00, bro. It was very time consuming, especially when I went back for seconds.
Now that one was good. Now that one was good. You ended on a good note, bro. That one was good. That one was good.
From the Bears, man. From the Bears, man. They put them on postcards and everything too. They wrote a message to me about being a principal, and then they wrote a dad joke on the backside.
So who wrote the first one?
Huh?
Who wrote the first one? First
my
name.
Kids, man. The first one was the best one.
I'm finna roast them.
The first one was the best one.
The first one was trash.
I think I said this one before. Let me give you a fourth one. I promise. I got them. I got them right here. Let me first one. I think I said this one before, but I'm saying it again because every time I say it, I laugh at myself. So let me find it, man. Care. What do you call a boomerang that don't come back?
Said this one before.
I know. A stick. I laugh, bro. Every time I say that one, I laugh. All right, man. That's Dr. Davis dad jokes, man. Hit us up, man. Let us know what you think about the dad jokes, man.
Especially that first one.
The first one was good.
The first one was terrible. It was terrible.
It was intense.
Of the three you did, only
Kevin,
good one was the last one, bro.
It was a fire at the circus. It was intense.
You could say it 1,000 times. You could say it 1,000 times. That was terrible. Terrible.
All right, man. Let's see what the viewers say, man. I thought it was hilarious.
Okay. Please, viewers, comment on those dad jokes. I want to hear what y'all got to say about these dad jokes. Especially that first one. Oh, I don't care what y'all say about the other two. Focus on that first one.
That first one was hilarious. That's my favorite ones.
That was trash. Absolute trash.
You can eat all you want, bro. I loved it.
All right, man. That's the top 5, man. That's the dad jokes. Yeah, man. We love doing those, man. It's fun, man. But we're gonna get into a topic, an interesting topic, should we say? Today's topic is called the list. And then we're gonna tell you where it derived from and how we got to. I'm sure y'all probably already know. there was a whole bunch of videos coming out about there's one in Atlanta where the girl went and she had all those oysters. Dude said, "Bro, we only brought you here to have drinks. You bought 4 pounds of oysters, slurping them and all that, and want me to pay for the oysters and the food. Hey, I'm out. If you want me to reimburse you for them drinks, I got you. But them oysters and all the other food you bought, it's on you." So he bounced on it, right? Then there's another video where the girl wouldn't get out the car because the dude took her to Cheesecake Factory, and he wouldn't get out. She wouldn't get out the car because she don't think she worth more than Cheesecake Factory, and she could be, right? So because of that, some girls came together, or girl, I don't know what it was, but they came out with a list of places you can't take a woman to a restaurant, and we got a preface to say the list is based on first dates, right? This is the first date list, right? So this made us think of discuss this topic as list, but we're going to go beyond this list that they created. We're going to talk about lists in general. Lists to the point of where, so what you want, like, and how it can be perceived, how people look at it, how people, whether it's okay to have a list. So we're gonna dive into it, like a list, like standard, like the first bullet point we got is like, are you creating? First of all, before we jump into that part, let me ask you a question, Doc.
Yes, sir.
Are lists okay? It's okay to have a list.
Okay, that's a great question. That's why I'm glad you said what you said about the first young lady about she could be, and I don't think that's the question. I don't think the question is in these instances the value you place at that moment, because like you said, we're talking about first dates, right? And sometimes if there's a list or an expectation or a level that you want to be courted for that first date, I think that needs to be said up front, right? I think you can have, if you're going to have a list, right, it's important that you make that list known for the person who's trying to take you out or take you out on a date, right? For instance, for the guy for the Cheesecake Factory, right? If this is the first date and I don't know that you have this preference that I need to be taken to give me some lobster, like it, I think most of us guys would consider a first date at the Cheesecake Factory not a bad option, right? Not a bad option at all, because the first date is really the opportunity for me to get to know you, not place value on the relationship. Right? It's an opportunity for me to get to know you and not the time or not the area to place value on a future relationship, right? And so a lot of times a great first date could be going out to get coffee. And that should be okay.
That's on the list. You can't think about to get coffee.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, is the I think when you create a list and say this where I want to go, and you make a fuss about it without the person knowing your list, I think you're trying to place value on a situation that should be really focused on getting to know the person for who they are. Right now, if you have these lists, I think it's okay to have a list, but be okay with someone not being okay with your list and not giving you the time of day. Because what happened in these old situations, Kev, is that when somebody be like, "No, man, I ain't doing all that," then they're the problem. No, they're showing they have a certain level of value, like you do, right? You're placing a value on you, right, and what you will and won't accept, and they're doing the same thing. They will and won't accept somebody that's placing that value. So you have to be willing to accept the fact that there's not going to be a lot of people that are going to court you based on your list. But I think it needs to be said up front, right? I don't think I don't think we pulling up to Applebee's and you saying, "Oh, I ain't going to Apple." I think that's wrong. Discuss where the date is going, right? discuss where we. I think that's another mistake by the man too, though. I think you have to discuss it, right? Say, I want to take you out. Let's go out to such and such. Sometimes a surprise on the first date is not a great thing, right? So I think you can have the discussion, but I think it's okay to have lists, but be okay with somebody not being okay with your list. Be okay being single for a while. I mean, I'm just let's be honest about it, right? But it's okay. But then we're gonna talk about what the list shows, though, and I think this is gonna get into our first bullet point. And so I'm gonna let you go ahead and share. But I think a list shows something, though, and I think we really need to discuss people being careful about creating lists in a way that, well, I don't want to get into it early, so I'm gonna pause.
So we're gonna have a disagreement then, a slight disagreement. And so this, I want to be clear. This is beyond the list about food and restaurants.
Yes.
Most people have a list about what they look for in a person. That's another list we're going to discuss. There's so many lists of wants and needs and expectations. Where I disagree with you at is when you said the stuff needs to be known up front. I disagree. I don't think anybody needs to know your list. Now, when it comes to expectations, first of all, men, when you want to take a woman out on a date, you need to ask them, what do they like to eat? What type of place they want to go? You ask a question. It's not up to me, but it's not up to the woman to tell you. I think the man should gain that information. They should gain the information. They should look for the information. It ain't just, I'm gonna take wherever you want to go. On the first date, I want to impress you. So I'm going to ask questions to you to figure out where I should take you and where we should go. Now, the reason I say, go ahead, you got something to say?
Well, I'll let you finish because I'm gonna kind of hit it on a disagreement on the other end too, though. So I'm gonna let you finish.
But this is the reason why I say you don't tell anybody your list, because when let's talk about first dates and the initiation phase of being with somebody, right? You're getting to know that person. I don't think you tell somebody everything up front because you want to get to know them, and you don't want them to react based on what you said, but you want to make a decision based on what they do, right? So if they ask you a question about certain things, you can respond to those questions, but it's not up to you to tell that list up front. They're supposed to ask questions. Now, I do agree that that you have to I lost my train of thought, but what I'm saying is that, like, that list, right? Everybody has a list. Everybody has expectations, and that's the difference between men and women, Keith. And this is my opinion. The difference between men and women, we have lists too. We have lists too.
Everybody has lists.
We have mental lists, but we don't put out there, my girl need to do this. She need to do that. We don't put it out there. Why? Because we want to find that out and see if you're the right one for us. We will see those things as they come to fruition. Women, if they lay it out there, I'm telling you right now, Keith, if a woman lay it out there for a man, he's going to maneuver based on that list. You don't want a person that's going to maneuver based on the list. You want a person that's going to that works for you, no matter if they know the list or not. They got to fit. That's just my opinion.
So I'm gonna disagree with you in 3 areas, but first I want to say that I think we agree with the essence of not knowing list up front. I think I'm saying list, but I do think if there is some expectations of the first date, that needs to be known up front, right?
I agree, but is that on the woman to provide that to you?
I'm about to go into all that. I think, so I don't want to say necessarily knowing your list up front. I do think there needs to be a discussion about the first date, right? And this is where me and you disagree slightly, because we also disagree when it came to gender roles, right? We disagree with that. And so I think there needs to be a discussion, an engaging discussion between both. I don't think the man needs to ask. I think there needs to be a discussion like, hey, we're going out on a date. What's some things you like? Let me share with some things you like. What's some places that offer that? We can share back and forth. I don't think it has to be a, but here, and this is why I'm saying that, because I don't think if that discussion is let's say the man never brings that up, right? A woman's going to get into the car or drive or meet the man there, whatever's your preference, and not be happy, right? So I think in any situation that I'm in, as male or female, if it's not addressed, somebody needs to address it. Now the man may make the mistake by not addressing it, but that means it's not that don't mean it goes unaddressed. And I just want I think we got to start looking at dating and relationships as a cooperation. And so I think that discussion needs to be a mutual discussion. But I think with list though, Kev, I think you're 100% correct. I'm not giving you my list up front. But where I do disagree with you on, another piece I disagree with you on, is a lot of men out there that have lists up front and they say it up front. I want my girl to do this. I want my girl to be this way. I want her to look this way. And they'll be very clear and transparent with that.
And I'm saying they're wrong too.
Right. What I'm saying, but what I want to say based on what you're saying is that I think it's you were saying men and the women. I think it's on both sides. I think both sides do it.
Probably. But Keith, come on. How many times have you heard of a man doing it compared to a woman? Like seriously, real talk. Women having a list compared to a man having a list? How often do you hear it on one side or the other? It weighs more on the woman's side of it, bro.
You do because the song.
it just does.
You do because the song Scrubs came out and it was just like.
So this is nothing though. That before we jump into this bullet point is that this Cat Kev D speaking. Men have to get back to being the hunters. When the last time have you heard a deer say, hey, Mr. Hunter, I'm be right here on this pasture right here, sitting down at this spot at this certain time, at this certain moment? When have you ever heard a deer say that to a hunter? Or when have you saw hunters go out and search for that deer? I think men have to be the ones when it comes to where that type of stuff at the beginning to say, okay, she says she'll go out with me. Okay, let me find out this information so I can make this a good first date.
Can I flip it on you a little bit?
Man to make that decision, huh?
Can I flip it on you a little bit because you brought the deer and the hunter, right? And so I agree. I think man, we do need to be more. We do need to in many cases seek, right? But on the same process, a deer who's hungry don't say I'm gonna wait for the grass to jump in my mouth, right? Hear me out. So I think there is always, and I think, and this is my opinion, I think we've gotten to a situation where we feel like one side needs to seek, right? I think I told you on a podcast before. I think it should be interdependence. I think in a relationship, I think we should seek. I think we should, like, if I want to know something about you, I should ask, and I think you should go the same way.
I'm not disagreeing with that, but some initial conversations, man. I feel like if, so nowadays women pursue, men pursue, to each his own. We talking about Kev, right? My pursuing, I want to get to know you, so I'm gonna do whatever I need to do to figure that out. as a man. Like I feel like as a man, I need to do my part. Now you expect to get the conversation to go back and forth, like ask question to me. That's called this conversation, right? This called conversation. But I feel like it's imperative of me to be the one to make that situation smooth, comfortable, make you feel. I feel like it's on me, especially if I'm asking you out on a date and that. So it can stem from who's asking who out on a date. Nowadays, women ask men on our date now too. So whatever. So I think whoever asked the other one out on a date, it's up to them. They become the hunter, and I think it's up to them to do what's necessary to make that situation right.
Right, but since we're talking about the wild, and then we'll move. Whenever you're ready to move on, we will. But I think if there's an animal that has it right, because I think this is a discussion that in the human beings will have forever about who should do this, who should do. But I think if there's an animal that has it right, I think it's the lion. Right, and that's what I'm saying. Right, lions have within their unit, they have specific job requirements, right? We know that the lionesses hunt, the male lion protects the pride, right? But if the lionesses are struggling, or even they just need assistance, the male lion would help on the hunt. If the pride needs to be protecting, who's typically the male lion comes and assists, but who comes and protects, but who assists with that? The lionesses. I think so often when we think about in humankind, we always thinking about, and this goes back to the gender roles things, like who should do what. I think we can have roles, but I think if you want to know some information, if you want to know, like if I have certain dietary needs, like I just think there needs to be. I don't think that discussion needs to only come from the man. Right. I just
But
disagree with that. I think
okay,
whoever needs to have the conversation needs to have it.
we still ain't got to this first bullet point, but the thing about that though is you said like dietary needs, things like that. But it's like, when do you, like, I don't know. To me, I just feel like there has to be somebody to establish the communication on, because I think you, a man, the pursuer, man or woman, the pursuer, um the biggest thing in relationship, the biggest thing when it comes to doing, like, being with somebody, is communication. Biggest thing. I'm gonna tell you from experience, communication is the number one thing in any relationship. I don't care what nobody else
Oh,
tell you. Communication is
100%.
100% the most important thing. So, what best way to start off the communication than to ask you question up front and get things right up front? What best way to start the communication?
I just think
What
it
what
comes from
what
both
what
sides.
what, what better way is it to for you to know this person right for you, than to allow them to ask questions to get to know you? Like, I feel like that's where it all starts. Now, we differ on that, who attacks that, but in general, I think we align to an extent,
Right. Mm-hmm.
right? But just who should initiate it is different. Like, you think it should be both. I think the initiation got initiation can, in my opinion, can only start one way. Initiation isn't a two-way thing. It's a one-way. To initiate something, it has to be one way. The communication is two-way, but the
Yeah,
initiation is
I
one way.
see that. I see that.
Right? So that's where I'm at. But let's get this first bullet point, man, because we got hot on that real quick. Because it's a hot
Yeah,
topic right now, bro. This is a hot topic.
it is. So the second bullet point, I think it fits. It's no, of course, all this fits. I don't know why I was going to say that, but it's perfect going into this as we talk about the list, because the lists don't really dive into the differences between standards and expectations, right? Because I think I think lists are generally made from a mindset of expectations and not standard, right? And it's going to sound weird because when you think about the list that young lady gave, you're going to say, "Oh yeah, that is her level of a standard." But I'm going to show you that it was more of an expectation. So here's the biggest the change in the definition between the two, right? A standard is a level of quality, right? It's the easy part. It's a level of quality. An expectation is a strong belief, right? The thing about the difference between the two is standard. A standard guides you. It's a guide. It is a foundation that is typically unmovable because this is the qualities that you are wanting and that you are wanting, right? It is the makeup of what you're seeking. All right. I wanted at this quality. But an expectation is guided, right? It's guided on the belief of something that happened or will happen. You see what I'm saying? And so there's an assumption that in these lists that have these expectations of what a guy should be bringing to the table or what they should be able to achieve or where you would want to go or partake in. But that's typically based on an expectation for an expectation based on a past or a future event, right? Now, if you have a quality, this is my opinion. I think if you have a standard, your standard is your standard. Be unmovable, be unchangeable. I think when it comes to places to eat, that's an expectation. I think it's on places to date, that's an expectation. Because when you say I want to go eat at a 5-star restaurant without even knowing the person, that's not a quality. You're not learning the quality of a person, not learning what they're bringing to the table. You're not finding out if they meet your standard. You're looking at what they are able to provide in that time. Now, overall, when it comes to providing, that can become a standard, right? But in the interest of a first date, you're expecting something without understanding or analyzing the quality that you're seeking, right? And so I think there needs to be a great separation between what are your standards for first dates or relationship and the expectations, and which one is going to be the foundations of how you move. And your standards should always be the foundation of how you move, right? We all have expectations, but the truth of the matter, should the expectations supersede a standard that we're setting for where we want to go? And I think sometimes we allow our expectations to be our foundation and not our standards.
And so I'm gonna piggyback off that a little bit, but I'm gonna go a little bit backwards because I made a comment before, and I want and I'm based off this comment about standards. So a standard. How many people? I'm asking this question hypothetically, but how many times have you gotten in a relationship, and for those of you all put that list out forward front, and it has your standards on it, and a man knew man or woman knew your standard and manipulated how they maneuver to fit your standard, and then when you got to a relationship, that all came crumbling down. That's the reason why I say you don't want to put that out front, because you want to learn that from some. You want to learn those things from people whether they fit that standard. If they know it, they can manipulate it. And another thing about that standard, Keith said earlier, and I was going to mention too, is that don't be surprised if that standard part, your foundation of what you want and what you want, if they don't align with and they don't agree with. Don't be mad if that person is not okay with what you have on your list as your standard.
Yeah.
Be okay. Like there's some things like that you have that they like that don't fit me, and let them walk away. But if you got a dude who like, man, I want this girl, she bad, you know what I mean? She bad, like she says she want this, man. I'm a finagle it, no, I'm a maneuver, right? She want this, right. So you give people a chance to. That's my whole thing about having a list out front is you allow people a chance to mess with it, to play with it. And then when you get to those full long relationship, you're like, oh, he said he was like this, and then we got together, we moved in, and because you gave him everything up front. Stop giving everything up front, right? And so I agree with you that the standard expectation vary. Like I totally agree that food list is an expectation. Like that, like the one with the that she was slurping all them oysters. And you bought 4 plates of 12 oysters and extra food and all that. This guy could have been on a budget. Like he wasn't expecting to pay for it. I understand, Keith. I get it. I get that a man needs to be prepared for whatever. A person that needs to be prepared forever. But to go out on a date, Keith, and just order the highest thing on the menu and to just wow out because I want to see how he act if I buy all this stuff I do. I want to see if he got the money. I want to see if he, bro. That's grimy,
right? That's grimy. That's grimy. But let's say legit. Let's just play devil's advocate. Say legit, she was hungry. One thing you don't do, man, is leave that bill on her. I'm sorry. I guess I'm old school. I guess I'm just old school.
I'm with you.
I guess I'm just old school because, like, let's say if she just ordered and say I'm taking it all to go. No, we got a problem. But if she eating it, man, I'm gonna go ahead and. But I don't know if we can make.
But a lot of times, a lot of times people test people by doing that, right?
But that's what I'm saying. That's why I wanted to pause on that because the difference is like that it was being done for a reason, not because you're hungry. That's grimy, right?
Yeah, and you recorded
it. That's the problem. I'm just saying in a vacuum, right? That's what I'm saying. That situation, I think I was grimy. But I think, and I'm talking about in a vacuum. But you said something very key that I do want to. Go ahead.
Real quick though. This is my way of thinking. I'm gonna help men out or anybody out, women too, if y'all pay for meals or whatever, which I don't think y'all ever should. But that's just me.
Agree.
You should be able to pay for the highest price thing on the menu twice. That should be your aim and your goal. You should be able to pay the highest thing on the menu twice.
Kev Jesus gave y'all a nugget. Kev Jesus gave y'all a nugget. Remember that.
Have that much money on you. The highest meal. If the highest meal is a lobster on there where y'all go to the restaurant where it ain't got no number on it, ain't got the amount on there, you should be able to pay for that lobster twice. She might not order, she might just want a salad. Right. But in your bank account, you gotta be able to pay for both meals. Yours and hers, man, because it's gonna look funny. She get that lobster and you over there with an appetizer for famo. Like, bro, you gotta be able to pay for both twice, man.
That's fact, bro. If you ain't getting nothing out of this, that's the piece you should have got. But I do want to talk about something. You said something about making sure if it's not they get into a relationship, it's not aligned, blah blah blah. But I think alignment is very very key when we talk about standards and expectations because a lot of times your standards align with who you are and what you want to see and where you want to go. That's not always true about your expectations. Your expectations aren't always aligned, right? Put it this way, your expectations aren't always aligned to a need that you have or a goal you're seeking, right? Sometimes they're just in the meantime, right? Sometimes our expectations can change, right? They're malleable, right? And so that's the one thing you got to be careful with is that expectations by building something on a foundation of expectation is not necessarily always aligned with a need. And so the thing about it, we can allow like those expectations to ruin and give us perceptions something that are not there, and it also can be built on bias too. And so we got to be careful with. I'm not saying don't have any expectations. We all have them, but make sure when you're building something like that, you're going out on that you're founding that based on the standard, because your standard is typically aligned with your personality, with who you are, with a need. And so just be careful to know that expectations are not always aligned with the need.
Agreed. 100% agree. Now I want to mention, we'll dive something real quick. The man list versus the woman's list real quick. And just say, stop comparing lists.
Yes.
I can promise you, a woman's list is not gonna match a man's list. It's just not. What we want, standards or expectations, it's probably not gonna align with yours completely, right? I mean, let me not say it's not gonna align, but it's not. Don't expect for my list to perfectly match your list, right? It's never going to perfectly match your list. But I want, like, my women, again, most men are physical creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Our list gonna have some physical stuff on it. Oh, you better believe it's gonna have some physical stuff on it.
Yeah.
Yours might not. Yours might not. It might have something, might not. So what most women want and what most men want will align in some areas, right? Like you want a woman or a man that my phrase I use all the time. I want like you should want somebody that gives a dang. Like that
Mm-hmm.
cares, that just gives a dang, right? That's important for me. Like you just to give a dang, like no matter what, like you care. You just care. That align. That a lot of things will align, but if you expected somebody to completely mold your like fit your list perfect, you will never find it.
Mm-hmm.
You will never find it. It is impossible. I am not Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
It's impossible.
But and also, and we both are in relationships now, and I say even within our relationships, what I think you can be uh you can be different and still be equal. And I think we equate equality with being completely aligned, right? And you got a topic over here we may get to about, but I think you can fit tight like a glove and not be equal. I mean, I'm sorry, and not be completely aligned in every area. And I think you can
I
be
say it like
not.
this: you can be tight as a glove, but your hands still sweat.
That was a good one. That's a good one. You know
I'm
what I'm saying?
saying.
So like I'm in a position to where in my relationship where it is super strong. But as you know, we butt heads. But we still are connected, right? It does the parts that don't connect it do not fracture the pieces that are, right? You still your bond is still strong, even with those differences. But what it comes down to in those situations, Kevin, is respecting those differences and
Yep.
honoring those differences. And I think even with the first date stuff, you have to do the same thing as well. You have to. We may differ on where to eat, or we may differ on where to go get drinks, but there has to become some common ground at some point in order to start the conversation. I think you talked about starting the conversation. It has to be a common ground to start that conversation. And it's okay if you don't agree, but if you can come to a what I call is true consensus, right? We both agree enough. This is Dr. Davis's definition of true consensus. You both agree enough not to sabotage the plan, right? You got to come to a true consensus, and I want to just be clear that it's okay to differ. It's okay not to align in every area, because none of us will ever align perfectly with one another. You're never going to find your a soulmate that connects 100% with you, because guess what? The perfect soulmate isn't perfect. The perfect soulmate isn't perfect. And so stop thinking that a man is going to meet every quality and expectation that you set. And men, stop thinking a woman's going to meet every quality and expectation you've set. It's not feasible.
Yeah, and I think that like you hear people talk about the 80-20, right? And I still think that's valid. Because nobody's ever going to be 100% right. So I think you got to stand, like the standards you mentioned before. You got to stand on those standards and those morals and values that you have. You can't vary from those. So they have to fit those standards. But those expectations that fit in those that other. So the standards are 100%. You need 100% of the
Yeah,
standards,
stand
right?
on them.
Now you can find the 80-20 in the expectations,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
You can even limit that 80-20 to 60-40, or like depending on how you feel about it. Because some outweigh the other ones, right? Some of them are like, I can get it. Yeah, no, okay. But I think the standards are 100%. The expectations become where you get your 80-20 at. So when you think about the 80-20, you want to figure that out. Base it on that standards 100%. Everything else has to fit in this other percentage range. Um, where we at on this list? I'm trying to figure out where we're on these bullets.
But why you looking at the bullets, bro? Is that you're saying it in this way? I just want to make it clear. Build your expectations around your standards.
Absolutely,
I
100%.
think so often our expectations operate outside of our standards, right? You need to build it around your standard. Let the standards be your foundation and build your house with the expectations, right? Because guess what we can do with expectation? When we build a house, if I don't like the tile, I can change the tile, right? That foundation not moving, but I can change the tile floor. So build your expectations on your standards, but typically in the situation that you saw in those videos, the expectations are not built upon standard. It's not on a specific standard, and I think that's where you get the conflict between people who are going after those specific things.
Agreed. I want to talk about this list real quick. About the where not to take a woman on the first date. I read
Mhm.
this list, and when they first came out with this list, man, I was like, are they like, who y'all to come up with this dumb list about where or not y'all want to go? But then when you read it, when you actually read some of the places, the list ain't horrible. Cause some of these things I'm like, nah, first date, that's probably pushing it. So they got, I think the first three are controversial. So it's Cheesecake Factory, Applebee's, and Chili's. Now those are lower level, like Applebee's and Chili's are lower level type restaurants. But it always depends on who you
Are we?
are with, and the expectations, right? The expectations. But then it gets interesting.
Real quick, Kat, because
Chipotle.
I just want to say this about uh do you know with my ex-wife, when when I actually like the option, like, where would you like to go to our first date? You know what she said? Applebee's, because it's her favorite. It was her favorite restaurant. So that's why
So,
I think this is all subjective. It's subjective, but they make it seem like a list that you should not do.
so I got a question for you though. I got a
Mm-hmm.
question for you. Um, After I go through a little bit of this list. So then they got Chipotle. 100% agree. You shouldn't take nobody no Chipotle on the first date. I'm sorry. I think that's kind of ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Olive Garden's on here. No, that's questionable. The movies, that's questionable.
Very questionable.
Like
Yeah.
people did that forever. Your house. Hmm, yeah, maybe. Um, any fast food chains, Buffalo Wild Wings, Wingstop, Red Lobster. Like I posted on Facebook, when Beyonce was saying something about Red Lobster, that was your spot. Was your spot. Now it's on this list that you can't go. Come on, man.
Yep.
Let's keep it moving.
Yep.
Like IHOP buffet, then like the gym. I think is a terrible first date. They got church on here. They got Starbucks, coffee day. if you mean it for the person for a first time want to get somebody those
Coffee dating.
intimate type settings, what's wrong with them, right? Especially if that's somewhere they want to go. Like, what's wrong with those intimate type settings like that where it's personal? Teach his own. Family functions, 100% agree. Ice cream dates. Why not an ice cream date, Femo? Like, why not an ice cream date? I don't know. Movie night somewhere that requires a long drive, bowling, nightclubs, hookah bars, a bar for drinks, Waffle House, sports events. Some of the stuff on this list I agree with, but this is a question I want to ask you. Is this an age thing? This is why I asked. Because when we were in our 20s, yeah, Applebee's and Chili's, cool. We ain't in our 20s no more. Like, as you get older, should the expectations be different?
No.
Should they be a little bit different?
No.
You don't think so?
I'm go ahead.
I'm just saying this is what the concept I'm just getting. Like, when you ain't got no cash when you're in your 20s, everybody broke. It's like, yeah,
I
like
get what you're
Chili's
saying.
it is.
Yeah,
You feel me?
I get what
Chili's
you're
it
saying.
is. But when you got a good paying job and the girl says she wants to go to an Italian restaurant, you don't take her to some place that makes spaghettios, right? You get what I'm saying? Like, should there be an expectation the older you is this list a age thing?
No, I'm gonna tell you what this list is. Ain't got nothing to do with age.
I know
It
it
ain't.
is too. I just asked the question.
This list is simply a you problem.
I agree, bro.
It is simply a you problem because I'm just gonna put it this way. Me personally, man, I'm gonna take the young lady where she wants to go because I'm going to ask her, where you like to go on a first date? I'm gonna find out. Like you said, the community. I'm gonna ask. Like, I'm gonna communicate it. And so I think, well, I still agree that it can go either way. Don't
Now,
get me
I'm
wrong
about
with
to
that.
say,
Don't get me wrong.
because you
Don't get me
just
wrong with
lead
that.
with me. You're
But
leading with me.
I don't think this is an age or a money. I think this is a like you said, a communication problem, right? I think I just think you need to be up, and this is what I mean by being upfront. I think all of those things, except for like to your house, family functions, I think almost everything else on that list is okay if that's where she wants to go,
What's wrong
right?
with a good ice cream date?
Like when I got back on a dating scene, the young lady who we wanted to meet up for the first time, she wanted to meet at a chai tea place. What's wrong with that? You know what I'm saying? Like that was like I don't get why the first meetup has to be extravagant. But if that's what you expect, okay, if that's what you expect, okay, right? Communicate it.
But hold on.
I think all of it's okay.
But beyond that person's expectation, if someone says, if I ask you what you like to eat, they say, I like steak, and I'm trying to get this person, get to know this person, and present myself a good way.
I agree.
I'm not taking her to get a steak from Chili's. I'm gonna take her to Perry's, bro. I'm not taking her to Chili's.
I agree, but this is why we got to go back to standards and expectation. And this, I'm about to flip it on you, right? I think you are 100% correct because I will do the same thing. We're going to Barry's, or we're going to some. I forgot what's my favorite restaurant.
Loco de Chow. We're going to Michael Jordan Steakhouse.
Place in Oakbrook Terrace that I love. In Oakbrook that I love. Yeah, but anyway, but I think Wildfire. Yeah, we're going to Wildfire, right? But I think the reason why me and you think that way, check me out, it's because of our standard. It's our standard, right? It may be their expectation, but it's our standard. So at that point, as a man, if you think I'm gonna go take you for the first date, and I have the money, and for the first date you want steak, I'm gonna take you to Outback, right? I think that's your standard, right? I think something's wrong with, as a man, that's your standard. But our standard says Wildfire. You want steak? I'm gonna take you to Capitol Grill, right? I'm a I'm gonna get you the best, right? At that point, but that's our standard, right? I think this is what I'm saying. That's why you got to create a foundation on your standard. If they say I want steak, then your standard is going to say, hey, that's where we're gonna go. That's not your. It's just your standard.
But it's the thing too. Like I agree that you should always put your best foot forward up front, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what back to what you said. What happens is putting your best foot forward creates an expectation.
Mm-hmm.
Like how you present yourself up front will create an expectation.
Mm-hmm.
It if you go big, like let's say you got no money.
Yeah.
First of all, be authentically you. Period.
Yeah.
Let's
You
say
ain't
you
got
ain't
it. You
got
got
no
it.
money. Let's say you don't got no money, and you like I want to impress her, and you sell plasma and all that, and you take her to this big stupid restaurant, right? You creating an expectation.
Right. But
You create an expectation.
but
So
remember what I just said though. Create your expectations around your standard, right? So if my
I agree.
standard is there, right? The expectation is developed around my standard, so that don't matter.
See, but what if your standard is like I want to do the biggest best thing, and
Okay. Okay.
you hustle to do
Okay.
it right, and then the expectation you created. Then what has to happen is if you can't, you have to continue to
Hey,
hustle to fit the expectation.
I'm going to say your standard is messed up because at some point, you got to understand this is what I'm able to do. Will I be able to sustain that? Now, in our position, right? If she say, I want steak, go to Perry's Wildfire. If she say, I want this, we still on the next date or 10 years later are going to take her to the high quality place because it's built around our standard, right? Don't set
Agree.
your standard to that point if you're not able to meet it. Like I think sometimes we can go wrong with our standard too, right? Your standard should be built around level of quality, the level of quality for you, right? And then let the expectation be built around those standards. But when you go and you say I want to do all this, and this is a one shot for me to try to win them out, and I'm never going to be able to do anything like this again, then you're adhering to an expectation. See what I'm saying? It's no
Agree.
longer a standard. It's no longer a standard. It's an expectation.
And for men and women, man, it's a man and a woman out there that'll go eat at Cheesecake Factory with you. But
Yes.
what? Guess what? That don't mean they don't deserve better,
Bingo.
right? They'll go, but that don't mean they deserve better. Just because they can't so like he said, it's your stand like your standard. Your standard has to be solid, man. Your standard
Mhm.
can't waver. It gotta be a rock. It can't be water,
Standards
right?
typically don't
It's gotta
change.
be right. It's gotta be solid. And if your standards ain't right, then don't date nobody until it's right. Because that's not we talked about the list, but that's talking about getting to know the person, what you want in the relationship, all that, right? It goes beyond some place to eat, right? It goes
Hmm.
beyond that aspect of it, right? So it's got to be solid, it's got to be firm, and it can't waver. But just because somebody will go to Starbucks and have a coffee with you, don't mean they don't deserve more.
That's the highest level you can make that you can get to. You know what
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. What else you
So
got, Doc?
for me that's it for me, man. I just want to make sure that we know that a solid standard with expectations built around it is the way you structure that, right? Because like I said, you can always tailor make your expectations, right? You may go out with a dude. You may be like, man, here's my standard. This dude has made me meet all these qualities, but he want to take me to Cheesecake Factory, and and you may miss out on a perfect opportunity with somebody who meets all of your 80, right? Because of an expectation that can change, but they fit you like a glove in the level of your standard. And I think that's where a lot of initiation of relationships fail is is the wrong foundation that they're built on. Because if the women watch out, because if you build on a foundation, I ain't talking to her. I'm not getting out the car because he took me to Cheesecake Factory. Ma'am, that's all over the internet now. Like that, you going like you
Keep. Go ahead.
like you got to remember that you can't create a foundation based on that level of selfishness. I was gonna say it like it's gonna be hard, even if you say, okay, I'm gonna take you across to blah 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 blah. I'm gonna take you across the Capitol Grill. You've already set that foundation. That's why the communication has to happen.
Bro, I went to Cheesecake Factory for lunch today. Ain't no wrong with no Cheesecake Factory. The ambiance is nice. Bro, the food is good. Like, ain't no wrong with no Cheesecake Factory.
Mm-hmm.
But this thing, a guy can take you to Cheesecake Factory and check off all your boxes.
All of them.
A guy can also take you to Perry's and not check off not one.
Now what? Correct.
So the point is to when you go on those dates, is to get to know the person.
Have an open mind.
You have to get to know the person. Y'all can work on building your bank account to go to those other restaurants. But if he's a solid guy or she's a solid girl, you mad because you at Cheesecake Factory? You mad? And then you finna get with this dude who gonna be like, baby girl, I'm gonna take you here, man. We gonna go fuck with each other. We gonna go Paris. Man. He gonna end up. This is a strong statement, but he gonna be the one to end up beating on you. Get to know the person.
Strong statement, but so it's true. Like I think we got to get out of the materialistic mindset when it comes to first dates too, man. Like it's like what can you give me? What can you offer me? You can offer me a beautiful meal that's worth $300, $400, $500, but you can't offer me no substance up here.
Nothing up top.
What's the point?
Because the point is to give somebody where you can, like, everybody aims to be a lifelong partner, right? That should be your aim, right? And you should be able to build throughout time, right? If you can't build throughout time and one person controls it, like, you gotta be able to be with somebody that builds. You can't be somebody where you controlling everything or they controlling everything. It's got to be a two-way street and y'all building something. It's got to be a tower you building, not a, you know what I mean, something that's gonna crumble. It's got to be something firm, like that solid foundation you was talking about. Those standards. Once those align, once both of y'all standards align.
Yep, you're gonna feel like a glove, but your hands still gonna sweat, like Kevin said.
Your hands still gonna sweat, man. Might get a little little musty here and there. You know what I mean? A little older, but guess what?
But it's locked, and that's where you want to be. And my last thing, Kev, before we wrap it up, man, everything don't have to go on social media and the internet either.
No, not man.
Just gonna say, you don't gotta post your list on a social media. You ain't gotta post a video or
exactly.
All that don't need. You even if you want to do a blog and say this dude took me cheap, like videotape it. Like, sometimes we just go a little overboard, y'all. Some things can be kept private, kept personal.
We also go overboard slurping 48 oysters on the internet too. Just, girl, if you don't, I'm sorry. I just went somewhere. Girl, if you don't stop.
Intent matters, man. Intent matters.
Like, whew. That was just so, I don't want to say ghetto, but like, you on live or video just slurping oysters. Just, have you had an oyster, bro?
Hey, I only have them charboiled. They be banging charboiled at the Oyster House in St. Louis.
I had it for the first time some months ago, man. They not bad, even with that little sauce you put on them, bro.
Listen,
they're not horrible, bro.
Broadway Oyster Bar in St. Louis. Go get their charboiled oysters. Bang.
And they're not bad. I think I like them because everybody talking about they slimy. They weren't really slimy, right? They weren't really like.
Oh, so now you eat boiled okra? Yeah, boy.
No, because I just said they want slimy. But I will never eat a boiled okra. Like I
Yeah,
said
boy.
last video. I'll do this. This might will do that on a snowy day. Do that. You're eating boiled okra. No, trash, man.
Nah, bro, I love me some boiled okra.
LG said he gonna try some boiled okra. Okay,
Go for it,
LG.
LG.
Okay. Don't eat no boiled okra, Al.
Yeah, man. But me and Kevin believe in love, man. And I think we both in places where we're feeling that strongly in our lives right now, and we just want to make sure that people have that opportunity. But just make sure it's built around standards, man. Make sure your expectations are built around standards, and I think you'll find somebody who fits that mold. Nobody's gonna fit you perfectly,
Hey,
but build around the standard.
bro, you might gotta wait some time, but
Mm-hmm.
he or she is out there, brother, sister.
And it's worth it.
Bro, they probably ain't gonna be no video vixen and no Instagram model. They gonna fit you perfectly.
Once again,
They
it's
out there.
worth it.
They out there, man. Like some of y'all get so frustrated with waiting.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, wait on the Lord.
Yeah, the Matrix.
All right, y'all, man. That's your boy Kev G. That's your boy Dr. Davis, man. Hit us up. Y'all know our stuff, man. Social media, TuVuespodcast@gmail.com. Make comments on these videos, these podcast links. Hit us up, man. Share our podcast out a little bit too, man. Like, man, we don't care about monetizing, nothing like that, but we want to spread this word, though. You know what I mean? We want to spread the word. And people hear what we talking about, man. But this Kev G, Dr. Davis, TuVues Pod.
We
We're out
out.
of here, people. You got to stop it.